Aloha, shamans, and welcome to our little corner of the galaxy here in this dimensional space called EarthStar Spiritual Center in Greensboro, North Carolina, United States of America. And we are live tonight. It is Monday, July 8th, 2024. Our topic tonight is part 6 of our star ancestry, and we'll be speaking about the Pleiadians tonight. So thank you to all our wanderers, intuitive shamans, and elementals, locally and from around the world, and all our galactic partners, and of course, United States Space Force. So thank you for being here, and we love y'all very much.
Thank you, everybody, and welcome. And if you're with us tonight, we ask that you would let us know that, chat, and let us know that you're out there so we won't just be talking to each other. And we appreciate your being here on this Monday night, 9 o'clock.
Yes. Thank you, love. All right. Well, we have a live audience tonight. So live audience, say hello.
Aloha.
Aloha. You heard we have live audience. People just coming in trying to bogart the show, but we got them here. So anyway. Okay. Well, let's get right to it. Got a lot to unpack tonight. So this is part 6 of our Star Ancestry series. And tonight it will be with the Pleiadians, some of our favorite folks. Okay. So it is July 8th, 2024. Pleiadians Part 6. The book tonight will be the Simply Shaman Mystery School book, which was written back in 2022. It's the Interdimensional Shamanism, 3D, 4D, 5D, 6D, and beyond. And we are EarthStar Spiritual Center. We're a multi-line or multi-faith church, currently online for Living Aloha. Been doing this since 2002. Our core values are to the left there. You see Aloha is all loving God, love, oneness, heart path, and as above, so below. And these are some of the meditation videos we have on the EarthStar Spiritual Center YouTube channel. Everything from Buddhism to Taoism, you can see those. And also, these are some of the books we've written. So 5 books total, 4 of them strictly focused on different branches or forms of shamanism. And you can find those links in the show notes and also on our website, Facebook. And you see the little symbol EarthStar Publishing to the upper right there. So for those of you who are aspiring artists, writers, and you want to find a way to get your materials published, then check out our website. I also got the link to that in the show notes. And go on the website and find out how we can help you to get your materials published. And Heidi's here tonight. Aloha, Fire Owl. Thanks for being here. Yes, aloha. I love this topic. Yes, indeed. I do too. Love all the star ancestry and especially the Pleiadian peeps. Good. Thank you for being here, Heidi. Hope you had a wonderful day. I know you're resting up, I hope. Good. And for the class we have coming up this month, it is the Merkaba class, Alpha to Omega. And this will open up not only our alpha sphere, which will be right around our body, about anywhere from 4 to 6 feet or arm's length wide. And then we'll also activate the omega sphere, which will take us from 1D to 144D. So in other words, all the way up to Metatron, every dimension in our particular universe. Okay? It'll be July 2021, 10 o'clock to 5 o'clock both days. And go on Facebook, and I've got a post there about why you'd want to take a Merkaba class. So look that up. Even if you don't take it with us, make sure some way, somehow, you activate your Merkaba now, because it is our ascension vehicle to 4D. And remember, if we're on the way to 5D, we have to go through 4D first. So check that out. It's going to be in a couple of weeks, a week and a half. Okay? And remember, we being shamans of Aloha, remember our SHAT principles. It's smiles, hugs, acts of kindness, compliments, and kisses. And try to do that a couple of times a day, at least. That would be great. And remember your default nature, our default nature. We are divine. We always have been, we are, and we will be forever. We have enough energy within us to live forever. Our spirit lives forever. So think about how much energy that takes for this to happen for all of eternity. And remember that you are awesome, you are beautiful, and you are perfect. So make sure you look like it, you act like it, and be it, believe it. Awesome, beautiful, perfect, because that's who you are. All right, so let's get right into the slides tonight then. So remember, this is a live chat. So if you will, check that like button. Let us know who you are, where you're watching from, and have any questions about the Pleiadians or any experiences that you had, then please share with us. All right, so our book tonight then that will reference some material comes from the Simply Shaman Mystery School book. Again, you'll find that in the show notes if you don't have it. But if you do have the book, we'll be on pages 16 and page 160. So that will be our focus for tonight, dealing with the Pleiadians. Good. A special place in my heart for them that they really helped me during my events, which happened in March of 2014. And so they're very special people to me. All right, so let's take a look at the Pleiades. Now, just for reference, the constellation is about 440 light years from Earth. So, yeah, it's a pretty good ways. So imagine it takes some kind of ship to get here for that, but also the ones that I've connected with, of course, they didn't have a ship because they were 5D, so they were able to just come in and out of consciousness. Okay? So this is what let me blow this up larger for you. So when you look at the constellation, you see the little picture to the left there. Everybody pretty much knows what Orion is, or Orion's belt. So just know that's usually to the southern part of the night sky. And that means the Pleiades, they're going to be somewhere in the southwest and maybe a little bit west, depends on what time of night you're going to view them. So if you follow Orion's belt, just kind of follow it straight up in that angle, and you'll see an orange star. Well, that's going to be Aldebaran, okay, and that's Taurus, right? So in the constellation Taurus. And then if you just continue that line, it'll take you to the Pleiades. Now, a lot of people, if you see the picture down in the bottom right, you can see how it almost looks like the Little Dipper. So a lot of people, when they look up, they think this is the Little Dipper. But please know this is not the Little Dipper. If you use that for navigational purposes, you're going to be almost 180 degrees off, or at least about 100 degrees off. Yeah. So make sure you realize that is the Pleiades. And also I want you to notice how Orion, which is the hunter, notice how it's aiming for the Pleiades. And we'll talk about that in a few minutes. Okay? And you see in the upper right picture, that is the blue nebula or star cluster of the Pleiades. And of course, there's quite a few stars connected with this area of space, but we usually generally focus in on the 6 or 7 stars. Okay? And there you can see how they're kind of lined out there on that bottom picture to the right. All right, good. So now you kind of know where it is as far as our cosmos goes. So remember, look south, southwest, west, okay, to try to find it at night. And usually if your eyesight's still good, you can see the Pleiades with your just your eyesight. But if not, just grab a pair of binoculars, or if you're fortunate to have a telescope, that's even better. And this is why you can see when you draw the constellation out like this, you can see how the star cluster, rather, you can see how it looks like the Little Dipper, but just know it is not the Little Dipper. Okay. Now, the folks that I worked with, my Pleiadian angels is what I call them. They don't call themselves angels, but that's what I was referring to them during our connection times. But there seemed to be some indication they were right from the star that's in the center there, Alcyone, Alcyone. So Alcyone is where they were projecting from, okay, as far as the ones that I've connected with. Now, what are some other cultural or origin stories we have with the Pleiades? Well, those of you who have studied any Cherokee at all, or you have Cherokee in your ancestry, you probably commonly have heard the story about the 7 sisters. So the Cherokees do have a story about that, and the fact that they also are from the Pleiades. Okay? Same for the Maya. The Maya also have connections with the Pleiades, and they too consider that to be an origin story with the Pleiades star system and the folks. Now, from Greek, that's where we get the word Pleiades. Okay? So Pleione, who was the wife of Atlas. Okay? And also another meaning for Pleiades or Pleione is doves or sails, okay? Like on a ship. Okay? So oftentimes the Pleiades are symbolized with a dove. Okay? Now, some other cultural experiences then we have, of course, is Job. let me take this off. Let me take the banner runner off there so you can see it. So Job, we have 2 examples out of Job and 1 out of Amos. And Jeanne will read those for you.
So the Pleiades are mentioned in the Old Testament and in these 2 books of the Bible, Job and in Amos. And in Job chapter 9, verse 9, it says, he made the bear, Orion, and the Pleiades, and the chambers of the south. Then in Job 38:31, it reads, can you bind the cluster of the Pleiades or loose the belt of Orion? And then in Amos 5:8, it reads, he made the Pleiades and Orion. He turns the shadow of death into morning.
Yeah, so isn't that something? A lot of folks don't realize that all these star systems are included in the Old Testament. So it's wonderful that they're there. Now, I mentioned earlier about the story about Orion being the hunter and how he was pointing his bow and arrow towards the Pleiades. Well, that's because he was hunting the 7 sisters. It comes out of us from the Greek perspective or the Greek history. So that's where we get that example of the Pleiadians or the 7 sisters on the run from Orion, okay? At least way back in the day. All right, and now here's a reference to the Pleiades from Cherokee. This is at Ross's Landing. This is in Chattanooga, Tennessee. A little plaque there dedicated to that. And if you can see the bottom, let me blow that up for you so you can maybe see that. But Jeanne will read that for you. Let's see, there it is. And look at the bottom part where it says the 7 sisters.
Legend says Cherokees came from the area of the Pleiades constellation, or the 7 sisters. Star Woman didn't like the way the brown-skinned people were being treated, so she brought them to Earth. She fell from the sky and broke open, and man stepped forth. Her other sisters were mad because they considered these people their slaves. And when she returned, they hid her behind a veil so no one could see her clearly. And to this day, you can only see her through a telescope, thus her Cherokee name, Uli Siji, the Dark One.
Yeah, so isn't that interesting that even with our own Cherokee right here in our own state, and the state next to us, we have a plaque that references the Pleiadian culture. All right, and just remember that hidden one, okay? So we have 6 bright stars and 1 that is hidden, okay? And a lot of times, too, we hear some of the stories, it's also 7 boys also that did that, okay? Because, you know, it was the 7 boys who ran up through the stars and they dropped out cornmeal from their little bag they were carrying. And the cornmeal, that's why we have the Milky Way. That's why you can see the Milky Way sometimes on those clear nights, because of that. Right, so another cultural legend comes to us out from out west. For those of you who have ever been to the Devil's Tower, or you remember that movie that came out, oh goodness, when was that? Was that back in the 70s? Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Remember Richard Dreyfuss? Remember he was making Devil's Tower. He was using mashed potatoes at the dinner table, and he's trying to sculpt this particular tower. But this tower, you know, can be seen right from the highway. I remember when I was stationed out in Montana, there in Great Falls, we had taken a trip one day to see Mount Rushmore there in South Dakota. And we were going back through Wyoming. So there in the actually it's not northwest Wyoming, it's northeast. Yeah. I'll have to change that later. So it's actually northeast Wyoming. You can see the Devil's Tower there from the road. But from the Kiowa and Lakota stories, the story is that the 7 girls, they were running from the Great Bear, and they went onto this stone that was out in the middle of the field, and they were praying to the Great One. And then all of a sudden, this stone began to rise up out of the ground, and the bear was not able to reach them because it was so tall. And so that's why you see the picture on the right. You see those little striations. Well, those are the bear's claw marks as it was trying to climb the mountain to get to the girls. And then, of course, they soon returned to the Pleiades. So that comes out from the Kiowa and Lakota stories. But great place to visit and drive by. I think it's a state park also, okay, or national park. And now Kauai, Hawaii, also has a reference to some origin stories with the Pleiadian people. So in Kauai, so as you look at the map, I want you to look at the very top of the map there. That would be northern Kauai. So the story goes that one day, long ago, the Menehune, and that was the little people in Hawaii. And they're the ones that would build things. They would build the fish ponds. Anytime you see a banana tree somewhere in the forest, that's because the Menehune planted it, because they truly love bananas. So the Menehune, the magical people of Kauai especially, one night they all gathered on the northern shore of Kauai. And it was there that they disappeared and transported back to the Pleiades. So that's the story about the Menehune and the Hawaiian connection. One of the other stories about the Pleiadians is surfing. Now, the story goes is that the Pleiadian god was surfing, and all the people saw the god surfing. And at that point, no one knew anything about surfing. And so that's why generally later on, it was always the royalty that were the only ones that could do the surfing. And so what happened is, you see I've got Maui underneath that, because as the Pleiadian god was surfing, Mahina, who was human at that time, she saw the Pleiadian god and fell in love with him. And they fell in love, and lo and behold, 9 months later, here comes Maui. So that's why Maui is a demigod, right? Because his father was Pleiades or Pleiadian. And after Mahina died, the Pleiadian god placed Mahina into the night sky, and that's what is our moon. So Hina is in the moon there with the Pleiadian god and the Pleiades. Yes. Now look at the bottom and you see Makali'i and Makahiki. So Makali'i are the eyes of the god. Okay. And what that refers to is that generally every October, November, the Pleiades rise over the night sky, over the horizon. And it's during this time that for the next 2 or 3 months, the Hawaiians would not have any wars. They would have festivals. They would have great luau's, these wonderful meals and parties and gatherings, oral stories, fishing. It truly was a time of peace. And this is because every year during that time, which generally kind of coincides around November, and when you think about the Makahiki, that's the festival. That's the big feast they would have. And so we kind of could equate that to our Thanksgiving. And that's because the eyes of the god, the Pleiades, would rise over the evening horizon, and they could see that. So it's a wonderful, wonderful story about how the Hawaiians are also connected with the Pleiades. Now, you remember the Cherokee story where it said that one of the sisters was hidden from the sky, or hidden from the light, and you had to use a telescope to see her. Well, this is in reference also Subaru. So those of you who own a Subi or Subaru, what's the nickname for Subaru now? It used to be a Subi. Yeah, still Subi. Yeah. So our audience members also drive Subarus. Okay, good. All right. So you can see that there's 6 stars associated with this. So that's the Japanese word for the Pleiadian star cluster. Is Subaru. So isn't that interesting? Just in case you didn't know that. So go out and buy a Subaru now if you think you got some Pleiadian star ancestry in you and really support the species. That'd be great. And now this is a picture. Generally, we've seen in other videos when we watch our news videos we try to watch, and also with other folks that are doing things with our star beings, our star ancestors. And a lot of times we'll see this particular picture being referenced for the Pleiadians. Whereas in other shows, we notice that this picture is there for the Nordics, because the Nordics were often thought to be blonde hair, blue eyed. And yes, now one of my Pleiadian angels does have this particular feature, but now she didn't show up in that tight jet suit or whatever like that, and I don't believe she was that endowed when she showed up, but yeah, she did show up where she did have blonde hair, and her name was Maya. I'll speak about that in a minute. So but yes, and so some of them do have the blonde hair, but I guess it could be like us, you know, look at Earth and look at all the different types of people. I mean, all the different races, different hair color, eye color, skin tone. So yeah, I could see how this also fit for the Pleiadians also. So when you look at them or asked to meet with them or be with them, you know, try not to have a preconceived idea of what they'll look like. Just allow them to show themselves to you, especially if you can use your third eye to try to locate and find them. Now, let's get to my story with the Pleiadians. So that'll be on page 16. If you've bought this book, you'll find it on there. I had the story there shortly. So Layla. Now, I had my first stroke was March of 2014. I say first one because I had another one in July of 2017. I guess I wasn't finished downloading what I needed to download, and hopefully that won't have to do that anymore. Well, we're not going to do that anymore, right? Okay. So in 2014 in March, you know, I had my stroke, you know, got out of the hospital, came home. Of course, they load you up on pharmaceuticals. So, you know, you're about half dead when you're taking all that. Well, when things started to clear up for me as I was trying to do my meditations during the day, on the 28th day, when I was in the sunroom, and of course, that meant a lot when I figured out what day it actually was, because I knew that was a medicine wheel. I knew that, you know, it signified the woman's menses period. So 28 days meant I knew that was a very special time. You know, I completed the wheel and ready for a new experience. So during my meditation time, I felt a presence just being around. I was in the sunroom, and I was playing this Pleiadian music that I like to play because I knew there was something to do with some star people. They were going to show up. And so, yes, on the 28th day, they showed up so that I was able to see them clearly with my third eye. I was in that deep of a meditation with them. And so I saw the room fill up with little bubbles, these little orbs. Now, you know, what's funny is when I was writing the book back in 2022 with this, and I came to this particular section, and I was trying to find some clip art. I was just streaming through the clip art, and this is what showed up. I did not make this clip art. So, and come to know that the person that showed up, her name was Layla. And yes, she is Hawaiian. And this is the picture I found on clip art. So isn't that amazing that, you know, I guess 6-8 years later, when I'm writing a book about it, this is the clip art that came up. Now, the only thing that is different is the orbs were colored. So they were every color of the rainbow, as you can imagine. And so what happened is the orb showed up in the room, and one orb was right in front of me, and it got very large, about as large as the person. And then Layla materialized out of that orb. I asked what her name is, and she said Layla. Again, this is on the 28th day. She looked very Hawaiian. I would say she was, you know, mid to early 30s. Of course, most of your dimensional people are going to be very young. Okay? Going to have a young look about them. Remember, if they're a third, you know, higher 3D or 4D, they have access to med beds. And just like we're going to have access, you know, you're going to be able to regress 30 years when we have those. So just imagine our other star beings having that technology too. But Layla now, eventually, I learned that they were from the 5D, so fifth density part of the Pleiades. And remember, in the Pleiades, they have every density there too, the 3D, the 4D, and 5D. Now, the ones that are here helping us in spaceships, they're in 3D, or they're able to materialize their ship into 3D. Okay? But Layla comes from the fifth density. And as I was speaking to her and seeing all the colored orbs, I wasn't sure at that time if I was having a reaction to medication. So I got up from my meditation and I went in to find my beautiful wife, Jeannie. She's used to me asking her these out of the blue questions. And I said, sweetheart, could you just come into the sunroom and just tell me what you see? That's all I said. So Jeannie went in, she sat down where I was sitting. You know, she activated her third eye also. And it only took her about 15 seconds because she's very psychic. very much aware. 15 seconds, and she goes, "The room is full of orbs." I said, "Well, do you see anybody?" She goes, "No, I just see all these colored orbs everywhere." I said, "Okay, that's all I needed to know." So I went back into my meditation, got my third eye activated, reactivated again, energized. And there I was speaking with Layla, and she asked if some other friends could also be with us. And I said, "Sure." And that's when another bubble came in front of me. Again, it was a human size. And that's where the Nordic looking person, the blonde hair woman appeared. Again, she was in her mid to early 30s, but she had blonde hair. She didn't have that skin tight spacesuit on. She just had kind of like maybe like robes or something. But she had very blonde hair and definitely had those blue eyes. Okay. And then also, there were two more. So two more bubbles came in front of me at the same time. And I thought that was odd that the other ones just came by themselves, but then these two were in front of me. And when those bubbles kind of faded away, two people were standing there in front of me, and they were both redheads. So the redheaded people, just like our studio audience tonight, full of redheads. Okay? So the redheaded ladies were there. Very fair skin, redheaded, but they were together in the bubbles because they were twins. And they were Leah and Elia. Yeah, and the Nordic looking Pleiadian, her name was Maya. Yeah. So I had Layla, the Hawaiian, Maya, the Nordic or blonde hair, and then Leah and Elia were the redheads. And they commenced to minister to me for, this was still we were still in April. So they ministered to me for the remainder of the year. And all the notes that I took, copious notes every single morning, that was the genesis of the Interdimensional Mystery School that we did in 2015. And that was the 3D, 4D, 5D, 6D, and beyond. And also that was, once I had some time, I was able to put that more into a book format. And that's what we were able to do in 2022. So that's the story I have with Layla. I'm still in contact with her. I've asked her on several occasions if folks that we know would like to make some sort of contact with the Pleiadian folks. She says that you are more than welcome to call her name. Remember, when you get into a place of meditation, just get nice and still and quiet. And simply just say her name 3 times. Okay, just say Layla, Layla, Layla. And of course, with your intention, she's going to feel that vibration, knowing that you're doing this because you heard that from me. So she'll be able to feel that. And now she may not necessarily be the one to minister to you, but if you have any connections you want to establish with the Pleiadian folks, she will be a guide for you and help you to be connected with your own personal Pleiadian people. And hopefully it'll be a 5D type of energy so that they're able to travel back and forth very freely. They simply just materialize. Okay? Remember, they don't have to be here in a starship. Just like Archangel Michael and Jesus, they don't have to travel in spaceships, right? Because they're ultra dimensional. So same thing for the Layla and the Pleiadians on this level of being on the 5D or 5th density level. Okay? So good luck with that, and hope you have fun. Contact your Layla. We'll go over a few more little tips here in a minute on how you can help make that real also. Okay. All right, let's go to the next. Remember Layla, the Hawaiian girl. Now, when I mentioned last week, if we go to the website and look under ministry services, and then click on the galactic portals or meditation portals, and there you'll find portals not only for the Syrian but the Arcturian. Remember last week we showed you the picture of the Hathors, the little crystal palace, the kind of aquamarine color. So tonight we'll have the Pleiadians in this kind of blue. But on the website, I mentioned that to help you to use these galactic portals, you want to be able to stimulate your third eyes. And I mentioned the Vesica Pisces. So you can imagine if you have 2 bubbles or 2 circles intersecting, you're going to have the Vesica Pisces. This means in Latin, that means fish bladder. Okay? But kind of it's the shape of a football. So it may give pause as to why a football is that particular shape. So this Vesica Piscis, once you activate your third eye, this is what you'll be able to see. Okay? And that's what you want to see as you go through those galactic portals, especially if you're going to try the one with the Pleiades, and then you want to try to meet with Layla to get you to your own Pleiadian contact. And you see the upper left picture there, another picture or two, just got a different color with those circles. On the right, let me blow this up for you. On the right there, you often see pictures of Jesus with this particular halo or icon around them, this Vesica Piscis. Okay? And, so that's what that's about when you see that, some of those old pictures. Okay? And there you see the Vesica Piscis with no color right in the very center above. Okay? So this is what you want to do. You want to defocus your eyes, and when you see those two circles coming together and forms this little shape, then you'll be ready to enter the portal, okay? The galactic portal. Okay? And this is what the portal will look like. The Pleiades. For this one, way I've set this one up, you will go to a Hawaiian beach. So as you get your Vesica Piscis, you have that activated, and then allow yourself to get closer and go right through that. And let me blow that up for you too, okay? Because you may want to just play the video and not go to the website. Okay? You can just stop it here and just go straight through that portal. You see the little Pleiadian or star cluster all around it. Okay? And remember, you'll come to go to a Hawaiian beach. If you've called upon Layla, she will be there for you, and she may be able to direct you to your new Pleiadian guide. Okay? And remember that the central theme of going through this gateway is aloha, or love. Okay? That's how we think about love. Love is aloha. Aloha is love. And that's what you'll be able to experience as you go through. Okay? So try that. Try to meet your Pleiadian guide, especially, Pleiades are pretty strong, especially if you studied any of the Mayan philosophy, the Mayan culture, the Hawaiian culture, and any of our native Indian cultures, and especially with the Cherokee being in the state. If you study in the Cherokee philosophies, then you may find a very natural connection with the Pleiadian energy. All right, that's great. So make that contact and call on Layla. Okay. And remember, anytime you're making any kind of contact, any type of connection with anyone that's in any other dimension than where you are right now or any other density, you want to sense any and all contact with your heart. Okay? So use your mind to give you a great picture, to give you some organization, direct your energy. But then you want to make sure you take the ego out of it, and you want to make sure it is your heart. And if you know what the little light, black dot there in the center with the light, if you know that is the tiny space of the heart, and you know how to work with that, then definitely want to be able to filter it through the tiny space of the heart. If you're not familiar with that, then just allow it to be filtered through your own physical heart. Okay? So anytime you're meeting with Arcturians, Hathors, Pleiadians, Syrians, any type of angels, archangels, or any other type of dimensional beings, you want to make sure that you filter all this through the heart. Very important you do that. Because you got to remember, there's dirt bags in every density until we get halfway through sixth density. And then everything is about unity at that point. But up to a midpoint of sixth density, we still have energies that are about service to self. You would think after 5D that would kind of weed that out, but folks are learning at their own pace, and so maybe it takes a few million years. But so you've got dirt bags then around service to self, all the way up to the middle of 6D. And remember, 4D lasts for 30 million years. 5D lasts for 50 million years. Okay, so now we're looking at 80 million years that we'll still be going through those that are about service to self, okay? And as opposed to service to others. And then 60 is 70 million years, so you got to add another 35 to that to get to the midpoint. So we're looking at over 100 million years that you're still going to have this polarity. So make sure you use your heart to discern that, because remember, your heart is a multi-dimensional filter, sensing organ. So use that heart.
Somebody come in.
Somebody come in. Genevieve. Hi, Genevieve Nightingale. Thanks for being here. Greetings and blessings to you. Hope you've had a wonderful, wonderful day. Thanks for being here. And just remember, we are one collective, one diamond soul. So we have one diamond. We're all in this diamond forever. We just simply move to another facet. And remember, this diamond gets larger and larger as we get more and more spirits evolving and partaking of this particular facet of life. And we're in here with our one infinite creator. So God is us and we're God. And so we do this for all of eternity. So make sure you're aware of that big picture so that you can help facilitate and manage the energy here in the little picture of being in 3D, recognizing that there are larger concerns, larger chances, larger realities available to us at any given time. Okay? And it strictly just depends on our point of focus. Remember, energy flows where focus goes. Okay? And remember our default statement. You are divine, you're awesome, you're beautiful and perfect. So remember that for the rest of the week. Burn this into your memory banks. Burn this into your cellular memory so that you know you are awesome, you're beautiful, you're perfect. So make sure you look it, you act like it, you be that, and you believe it. Because you are divine. Remember, just as you are part of the DNA from your physical mother and father, you are just a combination of their DNA. Just think about our heavenly, great, infinite spirit. Okay? That DNA, that spiritual DNA, we're also part of that. And that means that we are God and God is us. So live that life, be divine, be awesome, beautiful, and perfect. So thank you for joining us tonight. If you have any questions, give us an email some other time. I've got contact information in the show notes. Also, if you want to get the book that we referenced tonight, it's in the show notes, also on Amazon. So have a great week. Remember your Pleiadian connections. Just get in touch with Layla. Remember, say her name 3 times. Use the Vesica Pisces. Get the third eye energized. Then you can move through the Pleiadian portal that you see right behind me. Okay? And then go to a beach scene, and there you'll have Layla. She'll be there waiting for you. Okay? So have a great time. Tell her I said hello. If I don't see her first, let's see. Genevieve says, Jeannie looks like my family. Oh my God, that's great. Yes, indeed. Maybe. That'd be wonderful. Good. All right, so have a wonderful week. We love y'all. Let's do a pow. We'll go ahead and close it out. I think we'll be here Wednesday. I know we'll be here Wednesday, waiting to hear back from Heidi Fire Owl, see what's going on with her, and hopefully she'll be here with us Wednesday too with her wonderful medicine talking stick program. So until then, have a great couple of days and much aloha. Ready? 1, 2, 3, pow. All right, we love y'all. So you take care, and we shall see you soon. Much aloha.